Huh. Huh. You know, it's kind of hard to explain what I just saw. It really is. I guess just to get the other stuff out of the way, I'm a big fan of Zombie. You know, as you can clearly tell. So, I guess I'll just start off with how his film career was for me. House of a Thousand Corpses, decent flick. I think it felt like more like an hour-long music video to me. But it was decent. Devil's Rejects, one of my favorite movies of all time. I cannot see like how anybody could be able to top off Devil's Rejects in terms of like one of my favorite horror movies of all time. It's probably up in my top 10 list. The first Halloween movie, I think was more of a tribute, because you can tell that he loves the franchise. He loves the Halloween franchise. Halloween 2, turning Michael Myers into Jason Voorhees, I don't even want to think about it. So going into Lords of Salem was something that I was looking forward to, because the first time I saw the trailer for it was during a concert over at Columbus where he performed, and he was the main performance, and he actually showed the trailer for it, and it got me more amped up because from the look of the trailer, it looked more stylized, beautiful, steady shots, no shaky cam or anything like that. And yeah, there was an inclusion of his wife being the main star and everything, but you know, you're kind of used to that by now if you watch any of his films. So now, after I've actually seen the film myself, what do I have to say about it? It was a Rob Zombie mindfuck. This film is literally Zombie sticking his dick inside of you and fucking your brain. That's what this film does to you. The images are some of the things I'm going to be thinking about for the weeks to come. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, it's how you interpret it. You can either enjoy it or not really enjoy it. For me, I enjoyed it. I liked this film. I think that this film is a evolution of Rob Zombie film. Now, you know that his films in the past have, been shaky cam stuff. It was nauseating. You couldn't even tell what the hell was going on. It doesn't exist in this film. There is no shakiness whatsoever. There's like maybe one scene of shakiness, but that's like a dream sequence, and it can be very shaky, but that's just one moment. Other than that, the rest of the film is all stylized. This film is beautiful to look at because some of the shots in here are dark and beautiful. And some of the things when you watch this film, you may laugh at. You might find ridiculous. And at times, yes, it was for me. But I'm willing to put that on the wayside and just say, you know what art house film is not laughable or ridiculous at one point. Every art house film has been like that for a long time. So I guess the question is this a better film than The Devil's Rejects? I would say no. Devil's Rejects is in a feel all of its own. I don't think that I don't think it'll get past, like, as I said, that film is like in my top 10 list. It's still one of the greatest, it's still one of the best films I've ever seen. Lords of Salem would be second place. It makes up for Halloween 2. It shows Rob Zombie is growing as a director, and yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to be able to say about it. I mean, it's quite a ride. So, I guess to get into the plot details a bit for those of you who don't know what Lords of Salem is, it is a film where a radio DJ played by Sherry Moon Zombie gets a record from this band called the Lords, and then they actually call, like, they later call themselves the Lords of Salem. The DJs do. And upon listening to it, she starts getting these visions of, you know, witches from the past and in the late 1600s of during the Salem witch trials, and she sees them getting burned. She sees them doing their rituals. It's some pretty heavy stuff, and like I said, from there it gets to a mind fuck, because there are certain scenes in this movie that you may find disturbing, or you might scoff at it, or you might even laugh at it. And yeah, there's some certain scenes. Just thinking about it right now is actually really wow. Yeah. So really, you would think that you would know what's going to happen with this movie when you've heard the plot and everything. Trust me, you don't know what the fuck is going to happen. You really don't. I was trying to figure this thing out from the get-go, and even I was kind of lost in what the hell was going to happen. As I said, I had a good time with it. I dug it. Those images, man, they're just still fucking with me right now. They really are. Wow. So I'm pretty sure I don't know what else to say about it, except it's just a Rob Zombie mindfuck. It's really all that it is. And you may like it, or you may like it, or you may hate it. And I'm expecting some of the people out there that check this movie out that they're gonna hate it. For me, it's an evolution. Because what's the thing that this movie works on for me is in terms of atmosphere. It has a very creepy atmosphere. You don't see that a lot in modern day horror films. It's mostly just scenario, jump scare, scenario. You know, it's just a bunch of jump scares filled with CGI shit. You know, and going into this, I was, you know, expecting a lot of jump scares and, you know, something like that, because that's the way the advertisements made it look like. And it really isn't. I mean, there are some good shots of it that could be jump scares, but it's an atmospheric kind of thing, and I like that. You don't get that a lot in movies nowadays. And even some of the stuff that you see, like the creepy stuff, all the images and all that stuff, it's mostly practical. It's very old school horror, and I dug that. I dig that, because, like I said, you don't get that a lot in horror films. You don't really get that, and you may think that this film is not really a horror film. It's more of an art house kind of a thing. And yes, I would agree, it is more of an art house kind of a film instead of a horror film, but I still look at this as a horror film because, well, just look at some of the images that you see in this, and that you see in the posters and trailers, all that stuff. So, can I say that I recommend this film? I would say yeah. You may. I would say you might have a blast with it. I'd say give it a shot. You may not like it, but it's something that will leave a lasting imprint on your head and your mind, especially your mind. I'm pretty sure a lot of people who have saw this film is probably going to get fucking nightmares from this. So, I'd say maybe give it a. I say give it a shot. As I said, I think this is his second best film, next to The Devil's Rejects. The images were laughable, ridiculous, but pretty awesome. The atmosphere is scary. You sometimes you don't know what's going to happen. It works. I could say that if Stanley Kubrick was alive, he would direct this film. He would direct it. I can see Kubrick's hands all over this thing, and you could tell that Zombie is probably a big fan of Kubrick. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. Yeah, that's really all I can say about it. It's a ride. I'm still going through it right now, and it's gonna leave a lasting imprint on me. So yeah. Now to get that to talk about next week. I may have to do a double review. I may have to do one for both Pain and Gain and Iron Man 3. Pain and Gain was something I wanted to see this week. I was going to see this week. I don't want to see it. God, no. But it was something I was going to have to see for the show. And then I found that Lords of Salem was in a 2-hour drive to a theater. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I might as well take the 2-hour drive over to Columbus than to see Pain and Gain. So all chance I'm probably have to see Pain and Gain next week along with Iron Man 3. So Iron Man 3 is going to be a good palate cleanser after Pain and Gain, I can tell you that. So yeah, that's what I got going for next week. Final thoughts on Lords of Salem. Give it a shot. Check it out. You may hate it. You may like it. It depends. I can't really tell anybody that they're going to love this film, because I'm sure a lot of people are going to think, a lot of people think it was ridiculous, it was stupid, they fucking hated it. I dug it. I thought that this was a very decent flick, and I'm sure, like, if I decide to watch it again, I may get more into it. But for now, all I can say, it was a decent ride, and thank you, Zombie. Thank you for the images that are now in my head, and now I can't get rid of them. And I'm sure I'm going to have lasting dreams about them. So yeah, I can say to you, sir, as a big ass fan, thank you for the mindfuck. It was worth it.